Good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here is a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting Group, and also a venture capitalist. Today, from our newly shooting office, which we just developed in India, I'm going to be shooting the first video from this office, wherein I'm going to show you and I would let you know exactly what is the vision of Treasury Consulting as a group. There are many people, those who regularly come to us. There are many investors, although we ourselves is a venture capitalist. There are many endowment funds and everybody else is coming to us and asking about it. How do you see Treasury Consulting would look like 5 years down the line? So today I'm going to be shooting a video from our India office wherein we could let you know that exactly how Treasury Consulting would be 5 years down the line. Now, as you will see that here, that this is the middle part and this is the this is the middle part, this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side part. Now when we look at the left hand side part, this piece is already done for Treasury Consulting, because we know that Treasury Consulting was actually founded in 2016, July 2016, and maybe two months from now we would be celebrating our third year. And I'm sure that by the time the third year would come, we would have the third international subsidiary on the cards, which is Hong Kong. So this piece is actually done, which includes the trainings, the publications, the CFO desk, the KPO, the LPO, the foreign exchange, basically the RegTech, the bespoke structure, TMS, fintech, credit finance, and 30 plus respective debt. This piece is more or less completed in the last 3 years. The job was relatively not easy. It was very difficult, but with the blessings of Lord, we would be able to get it complete in the last 3 years. Now the question before Treasury Consulting is that, as you everyone know, that we wanted to be a bank by 2024, and 23 end or 23 beginning, we're going to have our first application which we're going to file for license for bank in Hong Kong, and maybe God willing we will file in Singapore and UK as well, but Singapore, Hong Kong is sure, and Australia and Europe we need to see exactly what would be the circumstances at that point of time, but no comments as of now. But Singapore, Hong Kong is sure. Now Treasury Consulting is expecting that Treasury Consulting, you know that it's a Singaporean based company, although we have office in India as well, and we are now setting up in Hong Kong in the June, and we would have office in Hong Kong as well. But Treasury Consulting would continue to be a Singaporean based company, wherein we would our headquarters would continue to be Singapore, and that too at the Marina 1. We would also be opening our Hong Kong entity, which we decided that it would be our operational headquarters. India will not be our operational headquarters. Our Hong Kong entity would be our operational headquarters. So Treasury Consulting will see that how we would be able to synergize between the Hong Kong entity and the Singapore entity. But one good thing which is happening in our favor is that the competition between Singapore and Hong Kong is actually taking a very healthy turn, whereby both the Singapore government and the Hong Kong government, they are coming up with a lot of innovative solutions to promote the startups, to entice the startups, to let more international business come to Singapore, and Hong Kong government is trying more international business come to Hong Kong, which is a healthy competition, which is good, because healthy competition is always good for startups, for established corporations, and for the medium sized, so the small and medium companies like us. Then India will continue to be our legal entity. We continue to have India as our legal entity for operational purpose, but we continue to have Hong Kong as our operational headquarters. While, as you know that in 2020, Treasury Consulting is heading to Saudi Arabia, whereby specifically we are heading to Riyadh, whereby we are setting up our petrochemical business. Now, petrochemical business doesn't mean that we are setting up the facility like Reliance Industries Limited, the big refinery business. No, we are setting up a desk which is known as a defense desk, and defense desk would predominantly be divided into two parts. Now, one part of the defense desk would be the maritime business. As we know that maritime is the amongst largest business streams we have worldwide, and Singapore as a country is the number one country as far as the maritime is concerned. And second part of the defense desk would be the energy desk. in this energy desk, we would be covering everything like energy derivatives, LNG, CNG, petro, electricity and everything. Now that desk we are actually establishing at Saudi, specifically Riyadh, and of course we would be replicating that desk to Singapore and Hong Kong as well. This is something which we should not be repeated. But over the period of the time, so say in upcoming time like 2021, in 2022, Treasury Consulting would be covering almost everything in the petroleum business. Whatever you have in the petroleum business from the consultancy side, which in fact these big fours are also not doing, like EY, KPMG, Deloitte and respective, we would be covering more than that. So we have entire plan that by end of 2022, which is 1 year before we filed for the our first attempt for the banking license, Treasury Consulting would have everything under the petrochemical business under the domain, and that would be running from Saudi. It would be coming from Riyadh, because we know that Saudi government is getting very conducive nowadays, and we thank you to the Mohammed bin Salim, Prince Mohammed bin Salim, who is getting very conducive and who is giving the lot of good and opportunistic offers to the companies like us to come to Saudi and invest, and we love to take that opportunity and we love to invest in Saudi. In 2021 and 22, we replicate our success in Saudi to Qatar and Dubai also. Now this is where it is that in 2021-22, the petroleum business which we are setting, we replicate in in Qatar and Dubai also. And if God willing, everything will go as per the plan, by 2024, Treasury Consulting would be able to have this petroleum business in the OPEC region, which includes the Qatar, which includes the Oman, which includes the Bahrain, which includes Saudi, which includes Dubai, and maybe the multiple regions of OPEC which are missing now. Because OPEC and Europe is same as far as one thing is concerned, which is Europe is completely can be traveled using the road. So you need to have one visa in place, and if you are in London, you just take the road and you can able to roam the entire Europe. Similarly, the same, more or less the same is the scene with the OPEC region. If you are in Saudi, the Qatar, the Bahrain, the Dubai, the Oman, and all these countries which are under the OPEC region, Organization for Petroleum and Exporting Countries, they are more or less as a road travel, So we're going to have that in place, and we're going to use that, and we're going to have our petrochemical business starting from 2020. I definitely know that this job is not easy. Definitely not easy. It is not easy to set up petrochemical business in a country wherein you have companies like Aramco, wherein you have companies like ExxonMobil, wherein you have big companies in place, those who are much powerful than you in terms of money, in terms of muscle power, in terms of knowledge. So it's not easy, but we know that the government is very conducive, the administration is very conducive, and we trust our functional skills very much, and we would be able to take this forward as a game. And then we would be in 2021 Treasury Consulting planning to enter to New Zealand, but unfortunately we have to say you that we are not entering into Australia. So by the time the current administration of Australia will be able to revive, so the upcoming Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister Morrison, by the time Morrison will not cut the taxes, the Reserve Bank of Australia will continue to maintain the carry trades. At the same time, the property bust which is happening in Australia will stop, or Australian business confidence back to what it used to be. The Australia I know, and always proud to say that, because I am an Australian, that by the time this business confidence is not coming, that we are not going to entering into Australia. But at the same time, we're going to set up our entity in New Zealand in 2021. We're very well aware that New Zealand is far away from Singapore, because Singapore to Australia is roughly 7 hours flight, and from Australia to New Zealand is again 1.5 hours flight. So Singapore to New Zealand is 8 hours flight. We understand the cost and everything in place, but as you know that since we are entering into the commodities business, which we explain later after 5-10 minutes, it's a time to hit the New Zealand market as well. And if everything go with the plan, by 2021, Treasury Consulting would be hitting the New Zealand market as well, and hopefully New Zealand business confidence by 2021 would continue to be what it is now, which is at par. And of course we continue to monitor all the countries which are around, but unfortunately we are not entering into Australia till 2021. And however the company has decided to take an alternate call when it comes to Australia and Kuala Lumpur. So what company would be doing that, as an organization we already have a legal entity in Singapore, we would be having one legal entity in Hong Kong, and of course we have a legal entity in India. Company would continue to use the Singapore entity as a near shore to Kuala Lumpur. So we won't be setting up any new entity in Kuala Lumpur before 2022. However, we would continue to use Kuala Lumpur as a offshore or a near shore center. You know that there are three kind of centers company can maintain, which is offshore, onshore and near shore, right? So in Singapore would continue to be near shore for Treasury Consulting, and Kuala Lumpur would be offshore or near shore, while New Zealand, setting up an entity in the New Zealand would give us privilege to have a near shore entity, which is Australia. So company would continue to target the Australian market, but from New Zealand, not directly making an entry to Australia. This is a small business game, business plan which we have made. Overall, before 2022, by the time 2022 would come and all these legal entities which I said would be in the picture, this left hand part would be more strengthened, which is our fixed income platform. You know that every year we do one phase of fixed income platform, and now we are in 2019, and the third phase of the fixed income platform is about to start in 15 days to 20 days of time, wherein we are coming up with 5 desks, and they are commodities desk, defense desk, debt and capital market, peer-to-peer repo and Islamic banking desk. I repeat, commodities desk, defense desk, debt and capital market, peer-to-peer and Islamic banking desk. Now these 5 desks would give us the privileges to enter into the different market, and you know our functional competency, there is no need to explain. Now commodities market, we would be having one-to-one with the big players like Olam Agro, with the Olam Agro and the other commodities player. In the defense business, we already told you that we are dividing this into 2 parts, which is the petrochemical business, which is the energy business, and which is the maritime business. Energy business would include the petrochemical business as well. While in case of debt and capital market desk, DCM, and this is the only desk which is there we have in Singapore, where Indian banks, apart from Goldman Sachs and Chase, GS and Chase, Indian banks also have presence. But GS and Chase presence, you know, need not to explain. Now this we are specifically launching to cover the BMK swap, the consultancy business in the BMK swap, which is the benchmark swap or the treasury swaps, which we're going to get created. And you know that if you are a part of our WhatsApp groups, you would be knowing that every day we are creating such kind of swaps, right? Then we would be covering peer-to-peer repo desk. You know that what had happened recently at Singapore, Allied Technology lost almost 33 million Singapore dollars, which is 165 crores on a constant currency basis. And I'm not saying Allied was wrong or the lawyer is still not approachable. Lawyer was wrong. I don't know. Let the law decide who is right, who is wrong. We are no one to decide. But the mistake is peer-to-peer repo, because the contract, according to me, either was not rightly drafted or was not rightly scrutinized, or maybe both. Treasury Consulting is a very serious player in PPP desk. We know that, private placement platform desk. In this, we are launching our tier sheet programs and many things which we are launching soon. But one important thing which is missing right now in the game is the peer-to-peer repo. And we wanted to come in the peer-to-peer repo domain, and there is no better place in Singapore for the peer-to-peer repo. Then you have the Islamic banking. You know that Islamic banking is something which we are very serious, and I'm also learning the terms in respective vernacular language, and how exactly, because Islamic banking conventions and Western banking conventions are not same. They are a different school of thought, including their accounting practice, Western is having a different school of thought with their accounting practice. Both are respective school of thought. One believe in their school of thought while Western believe in their school of thought. Now you know that as a ex-treasurer of an American company, we understand Western banking very well. There is not a single person who can say that our understanding of the Western banking is not as par with the big banks of the globe. We are adding Islamic banking into the picture, whereby Islamic banking would give us the last edge, which is, I call this last edge because there are two school of thoughts which we have worldwide in banking. One is the Western banking and one is the Islamic banking. Western banking, we are already on the cards, getting recognition, name, fame, respect, everything. But Islamic banking, which we are missing. So Islamic banking we also adding. So by 2022, which is practically 3 years from now, I can say 3.5 years from now, that all these legal entities would be in the picture. Hong Kong would be in the picture 1 month from now, not 1 month, in fact 10 days from now. Saudi would be in the picture 8 to 9 months from now. New Zealand would be in the picture 1.5 years from now, and Kuala Lumpur in Australia would be the near shore. So Kuala Lumpur would operate from Singapore, while Australia will operate from New Zealand. So it's right that we won't open any entity in Kuala Lumpur, but we would be we would set our business in Kuala Lumpur via Singapore and in Australia via New Zealand. By 2022, this part would completely be ready. And to whom we mention this as FOA, which is known as Front Office Architecture. Now when we go for a banking license in 2023 end, the first attempt the company would do for the banking license in Hong Kong and Singapore, there are multiple considerations for the banking license. So number one consideration for the banking license is the paid up capital. That is definitely not a problem for Treasury Consulting, and it's a cash rich company. Second consideration for banking is the FOA, which is Front Office Architecture. I'm not here to comment on the companies those who got the license from Hong Kong Monetary Authority or the current banks which we have in Singapore, but if you deeply delve down without quoting anybody's name on their annual reports on their website, you would get to know that both the countries, which is Singapore as well as Hong Kong, their banks are losing one thing which is known as FOA. Effective 2008, when central bank pushed so much trillions of dollars of money, in fact uncounted trillions of dollars of money, you know, in the name of the quantitative easing, we forget it that this has diluted the capability of the strongest thing we have in banks, which is known as FOA, Front Office Architecture. But Treasury Consulting, you know that our dream is as a bank, we never allow that front office architecture would be weak. No. Treasury Consulting, by the time I am alive, would continue to have the best front office architecture in the picture. And this front office architecture would be greatly driven from our fixed income platform. We launched fixed income platform 1 year, few months before, you know, in February, I think it says February 2018. And the kind of response which we are getting on our fixed income platform is actually exemplary and tremendous. We are generating so many queries, business mails, attractions. There's so many things which we are actually generating on our fixed income platform, and we thank you very much for the Lord to someone in the sky for give us that privilege, right? Now let's move here. You know that we bought a platform which is mindlybanking.com. In this mindlybanking.com we bought somewhere few months ago, but due to the paucity of the time, we not been able to convert this platform into what we actually looking for. But hopefully in 2020, we would be winding up this platform and we would be converting this into an investment banking platform. Now sitting today, you have, if I say that the top investment banking players of the globe, which is Goldman Sachs, Standard Chartered, DBS, UBS, Credit Suisse and all, they are doing almost every kind of work in the investment banking. Lead arrange managers, you know, the investment bankers, the underwriters, they're doing every work. But do you have one website, one platform, wherein all information of the investment banking will come at one place and you would be able to learn investment banking at just like 1 feet from now. So when we started in 2014 our YouTube channel, most of the people put the hand on their heart. They never thought that we have these kind of financial instruments actually which are not in the books. So without saying anything wrong for Investopedia, and no offense to Wikipedia, we are putting so much knowledge of the foreign exchange on the board which even these websites are not offering. So similarly, we go our envisage, our vision is to have pioneerbanking.com to convert this one investment banking platform, because we want that it has to be an investment banking platform. So by 2024, when we get the banking license, our iBanking platform would be ready and we would be able to take this forward. As simple as that. Nothing wrong in that, right? Then we continue to strengthen our PPP desk. We are adding the tier sheet programs, and there are a lot of things which we are adding in the PPP desk. You would get to know. We are the only PPP desk which are in the public space who is giving consultancy, but if you are expecting we are giving complimentary consultancy, then you are at the wrong place. If you want any advice in PPP, the minimum charge is 1000 Singapore dollar per hour. That's it. From here the charges will start, and these charges are subject to amendments. So maybe 6 months down the line this charge will go to 2000 Singapore dollar per hour. That's it. These charges are subject to amendments. There is nothing complimentary in our PPP desk. One has to understand very clearly. As simple as that. Now let's come there, and this is the main part for Treasury consulting, of course, because this would be very, very important. Apart from, we understand that this work is relatively not easy. It requires time, only time, because we have the time in our hand. We are expecting our bank to be 5 years from now, and that is virtual bank and brick and mortar, we don't know. But if it would be virtual, we are fine. If it would be brick and mortar, we are fine. It doesn't make any difference to us. At the same time, we know that we are a venture capitalist, which is the company's money, and that money would continue to grow. We continue to put our net profit, because our policy is simple, that if you are earning a net profit of $100, then some part we allocate to our VC fund and some we keep for ourselves. Now we continue to our endeavor is to make a very strong VC fund, and VC accelerator programs are also coming. The mutual fund academy is coming now, wherein we are going to let people know that this is how you can invest in the mutual fund online. Our forensics academy is coming, regulatory technologies academy is coming, which is to connect with regulator. Like on 20th of June, Treasury Consulting is meeting with Monetary Authority of Singapore, one of the best preemptive and a regulator who always wanted to be one step higher than the change. We are meeting with them and we are giving them a presentation that how about MAS 610. This won't be the last meeting with MAS. We are going to write to HKM as well, Hong Kong Monetary Authority, and we also going to be writing to MAS again on a tactful issue, which is technological risk management. Of course, a lot of videos would be coming in that regards, but we continue to give our suggestions, recommendations to both the innovative regulators, which is Monetary Authority of Singapore and Hong Kong Monetary Authority. We call this as academies, and this is not a comprehensive list of the academies. The academies comprehensive list would be available on fixedincome.global. You can see that. Now in 2024 and 25, one big thing would happen, a little painful, but that is the business decision which we have decided actually. Treasury Consulting will divide it into two parts. As soon as we will get the banking license in 24 and 25, although we have kept one more year for the banking license, which is 26 actually, and we're going to divide the bank into two parts. We're going to divide Treasury Consulting into two parts. So what would be the TCB, Treasury Consulting Bank, and what would be TCG, Treasury Consulting Group. Treasury Consulting Bank would continue to work on the banking activities which we want it to be. We continue to give services like we have all the best banks of the globe like Goldman Sachs, Standard Chartered, JP Morgan. I know that generally is not easy, that steps are not easy. We need to work very hard. We are up to it. Doesn't make any difference. Treasury Consulting consultancy business, which is this part of business, will never stop. Now, Treasury Consulting will break into two parts. The consultancy business will continue to run, and we continue to make our consultancy business better than Big Fours. And we are adding so many things. Trust us, in the 3 years of time, from July 2016 when we started, right? No one ever thought that in the 3 years Treasury Consulting would reach here and be a cash-rich company from a very first day. And I assure you, you give us 2 more years, maximum 3 more years, that Treasury Consulting consultancy business would be better than what you have in these Big Fours, and the kind of services which we would be offering, it would be must, it would not be exceptional, but much more better than we have. We have a complete holistic plan in place. I know few of our beloved friends, you know, those who do not like us, they don't like these kind of visions, but do I care? Definitely not, not at all. In the meantime, you know that in 2020 Q1 our business school is coming. We are launching our MBA programs. We are very much disappointed the way MBAs are running. I don't want to name any business school, but most of the business schools are now acting as a center for money. I call them a center for money, and they are playing with the careers of the students. Foreign exchange and everything, nothing is being taught. At the same point of time, forget the bespoke derivatives and all, it's nothing going to be. Our B School programs is coming Q1 2020, and trust us, the kind of MBA which we are coming, nothing like it. Of course, this MBA would be approved from the respective regulators of Singapore. I think it's Ministry of Education, and in Hong Kong we would surely have their own Ministry of Education. We would surely get this approved from respective ministries, and we surely going to have their perspective in our programs. We are ready for that. Multiple things on the cards, not to worry. Overall, before 2024, which I always said, which is 5 years down the line, which is approximately roughly 1600 days, right? These all would be ready, and then 2024 to 26, Treasury Consulting would hit the banking sector. And we would be in a position, when this would be ready, we would be in a position to let people know that we are far better than you in the banking. Okay? I might work as a corporate treasurer for an American company, but I am a best banker than you. And 2024, this entire architecture would be ready. Maximum 5 years is more than sufficient time for me to get this ready. I'll assure you that we get this ready before 2023 or somewhere maybe maximum mid of 23, but still we keeping this 24 and 25 as a separate step up. Maybe some additional thing would come. You know that our vision is very broad. We always keep looking at, boss, what is coming, what is not coming, and something like that. This is what our vision, this is what Treasury Consulting wanted to be, and I would like to tell everybody out, those who are watching this video and those who are not watching this video, and those who like us, those who do not like us. Either way, that Treasury Consulting is a serious company. We never joke. When I started this company, a lot of people told me it would end up as a training company. Today you know it is not a training company. It's a whole soul company. When I started fixed income platform, bankers came to me and said that such kind of platforms are not possible, but you know that www.fixedincome.global is on the first rank of the Google. First rank of the Google. And that only happened in 1 year and few months without spending a single dollar on search engine optimization, which is shortly known as SEO. And my vision, like Mr. Jobs said, his vision is to make #1 company in the personal computing. Similarly, my vision is to make my company a bank. And I don't bother. I really don't bother that if anyone sitting at any part of the country or any other country, any continent, any island is having what view about us. We know that there are many distractions that are bound to happen, because the longest journeys in the globe are always full of distractions, but we never mind it, because every distraction will tell you something which books, business schools cannot tell you. To wind up this long video, I first of all would like to thank you, all of our clients, those who have trust on us, to all the clients to whom we served, to all the clients to whom we go to serve. I would like to thank you, the government of Singapore, for giving us an opportunity to come to Singapore and work. I again would like to thank you, government of Hong Kong, who is giving us an exemplary invitation and a lot of stuff to come to Hong Kong and work. I thank you to government of Saudi, who gave us an encouragement to come to Saudi Arabia, and specifically the main part of Saudi Arabia, which is Riyadh, come and do the business in the petrochemical. I would like to thank you, the government of New Zealand, government of Australia and government of India for giving us encouragement to do the business. At the end, I thank you, Monetary Authority of Singapore. I thank you to the YouTube visitor. But at the end, I would like to let you one thing very surely, that every passing day, Treasury Consulting would doing something different. So you might not get to know. So today in a long stairs, I am at step number 18. Tomorrow I am step number 20. You don't know the difference, but after 1 month, 2 months, you will get to know, no, he is actually going up. This is what Treasury Consulting. You know my mobile number 919899242978. You know our fixed income platform www.fixedincome.global. And before leaving, tomorrow or maximum day after, we would be shooting another interesting video, which is that how virtual bank would look like. And this is our vision of the virtual bank, which we already taken indemnification. With this, we thank you very much and have a great time ahead, and talk soon. Thank you.